Hello and welcome to BUZ Banter. I'm Dashat.
I'm Maya.
And today we bring you a movie review. Actually, what movie are we talking about? The last 2 days have been kind of a haze.
I don't know, man. Maybe we
My
just imagined it.
Well, my memory is a bit spotty. I don't... Why can't I recall this? God.
It's the one with the guy with the eyebrows.
It's just totally gone. Like, my recall is just total recall! That's the one! I knew I'd come to it.
The one that's with the other feral.
Yeah, Colin. Colin? Colin Farrell, yeah.
He has the eyebrows.
The one that everyone hates.
No, he has the eyebrows that walk off his face and goes on adventures.
with the same panicky look throughout the... Okay, whatever. So, the remake of the sort of cultish classic, Total Recall, that used to star Arnold Schwarzenegger and getting his ass to Mars.
I love Mars. Mars is a great place. Just like you could almost not die there. The curiosity is there now.
Exactly, and he's looking around and he's finding places for us to chill and hang out, you know, give our name to the bouncer so we can come in after him, right?
They kept that lady with the augmented chest, yeah.
Yeah, so...
She's in both movies, right?
Yeah, Triple Boobs made it into the film, but in any case, so... We've all seen the trailers, if you're watching a show like ours, you know exactly what the original Total Recall was, so you know what this is about.
And if you don't, well, the previous movie was set up on Mars, not New Zealand. Or was it Australia? Well, New Zealand has sheep. There was no sheep. It was probably Australia.
Yes, it's Australia by way of our university and downtown Toronto. I guess now we know what it feels like to be a New Zealander and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy and just be like, I've gone camping there, I know that place, been there, my uncle lives like 3 streets down from that.
I figured out that, hey, so that's why I wasn't allowed studying in that classroom.
Exactly, I actually had that train station scene that's actually from one of the meeting places on our campus, and I actually had to detour around like half the campus to get to a midterm exam because they were filming during the time of my midterm and cut the damn campus in half. Okay, the movie itself. All right, focused. Yeah.
So the movie itself, well, I found that there were no one-liners, so like the previous movie, there weren't as many jokes. It was a lot more serious. I didn't like the glare, like the
lens flare that they have everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere, and the first few minutes of the movie was just made of pure seizuring. I could not. I looked away from the screen because I realized that the way they've made the lighting is not very good for people who get epileptic seizures. I don't think that's what they were going for, but that's what you guys have created.
Well, they're basically trying to create this bright and shiny world, and so to distract you from the fact that none of this takes place on Mars, that they want to basically sort of embellish the world that it does take in, which is our world in the future.
And it's like a modern, dirty, run-down Chinatown version of the future.
Yeah.
Mind you, if the movie had smell, it would probably smell like Chinatown.
Without a doubt. You've got a very large Asian population in this film.
Which was odd because in the advertisements for Recall, right, at the beginning of the movie, they use Korean, and then later on when you see the advertisement again, I think they use Chinese. But like I know it's definitely Korean in the beginning because I can't read Korean. Oh, I also can't read Chinese. I just know what it looks like. I'm Chinese Canadian, by the way, so for me it's like you can look at it and it's like, yeah, I can't read that, but I know what it should look like. I mean, Chinese has no circles.
The film itself starts out, gets you immersed in the world.
Oh. That there has right at the beginning when he goes into Recall, the actual brainwashing facility, the man that talks to him saying that he can make his dreams come true. I could hear people in the audience saying, "Is that Edison or is that guy from that Harold and Kumar movie?"
I'm pretty sure it's Harold and Kumar.
And then I was like, he looks nothing like Edison. Why do you all automatically think it's Edison? Edison is a terrible human being in most movies that he plays. So I was like, why would he play a guy who only gets such a small role? And then I thought about it and went, wait, nope. He was a janitor in the Batman movie, so maybe. So then for a minute I was brainwashed into thinking that maybe he's Edison Chan.
But then
He's Harold.
but then his pretend wife tries to kill him, and you snap back into focus, and then you snap out of it, and then you snap back in. Like I found that was the case with this film, that there's just so much happening at certain points that you start to lose focus with it.
I like the complex puzzles though that they set up. Like the whoever is doing the action sequences probably had fun with this too, setting up timer bombs and then like timing it just right so that it goes off right when his like pretend wife is about to hit the corridor. That was quite interesting. Also the elevator scenes, utilizing the zero gravity functions of the large elevator and the smaller claustrophobic elevators, setting up bombs in there and seeing how they get out of there was quite interesting.
Yeah, they play around with it a lot and everything in this. Story is very you don't really need a story to this, but the big question is, how does this compare to its original? And I would say that for this film, such a comparison is a little unfair to make, simply because they're two very different sorts of action films.
They're interesting.
The original Total Recall came out at a time where the only action hero you could have would be someone like Stallone or Schwarzenegger, someone who was like big, muscly, or someone who, like Chuck Norris, could just like kick down a house. That was considered an action hero, and that's all you could have. Just watch Predator.
Yeah, whereas
it's nothing but muscle bound.
Will Ferrell is instead very resourceful and
Colin Farrell.
Oh, sorry. Colin Farrell is.
Will Ferrell in
oh
this.
man,
That'd be awesome.
It was so bad because people behind me kept saying, "Is that Will Ferrell? Which one's that?" And I was like, "You're ruining the movie." Anyway.
Why are you talking? You've got the goddamn Famous Players magazine in front of you. Read it.
Oh man. Anyway, I think that Colin Farrell is a very resourceful actor. So he sets up very intelligent puzzles for the enemies to die within. He also seems to be far more, I guess he's more nimble because he's not as
well. He comes.
What was the term? He's able to get through really tight spots very easily. I thought that was interesting how he could find ways of surviving regardless of like how the explosions go.
Well, and that's the changeover that's happened over the years, especially within the action genre, where it's less about someone that's just a battering ram going through everything, and more someone that's trying to outwit. And yes, they can fight and everything, and they're very intelligent, but it's a balance between the two that gets them through situations, and you find that with him. And what I liked about this more than I liked about the Schwarzenegger film, the original Total Recall, he finds out that his entire life is a lie, and he's just kind of okay with it. He just goes to the next area, beats up the next person, goes to the next area, and he just goes through the motions. Whereas Colin Farrell, like, you see on his face, he is very concerned, he's very confused, he's going all over the place, he doesn't really know who to trust and all of this stuff.
He has augmented technology in his hand that he's not aware of. I found the disorientation that he created was quite familiar. I think I've seen something like that in Memento before.
But
the look of shock and like disgust and horror that so much of your life is a lie. But also, what was interesting about him was his prowess with technology. Despite being convinced that he does not play the piano, he plays the piano. That was quite interesting.
Well, because you change your memories, but you can't really change who you are, sort of thing. But the thing is, just like the original, the writing for this one isn't really all that great. It's a film that you see for the action.
I actually watched it for the writing. I didn't mind the action as much. I was just curious to see how you portray such awe and shock and like and how.
And they do it well.
They did it very well. I liked how disoriented he managed to portray himself in various scenes, and also the concept of like utilizing glass as a screen is still a technology being in development now. I'm pretty sure there are working prototypes somewhere out there because I've read about them on like Michio Kaku's Physics of the Future novel, or not novel. It's more like his little spiel about him predicting what will happen in the next 100 years, and with some of the best scientists in the world. And Total Recall actually shows some of the technologies that has been discussed about in Michio Kaku's work.
Yeah.
He's a physicist, by the way. So the whole idea that you can go to any glass surface, stick your hand on there and use your hand as like a mouse, and then perhaps having a necklace display the screen.
That's actually a prototype that exists right now,
Yeah.
where it's just this little thing that hangs off of a person, and you just kind of go like that. It takes a picture of it. You can.
And you can use any glass surface as a screen.
Any glass or flat surface. You can just display it onto a wall.
I think it was an
like
excellent portrayal of that technology in the movie.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger's movie is dated.
Well,
So like the technology in there is.
well, but here's the thing. Within the realm of this film, it has a lot of nice bells and whistles to it,
Yeah.
but it lacks a certain substance. Like, I can't find myself caring about Colin Farrell's character too much, nor any of the supporting cast. And I think that's what really hinders it. It's the supporting cast.
I was curious to see every time he comes across his previous self in like recordings, I was curious to see what he would be like in his previous selves versus now.
It doesn't seem all that different.
I think he was a bit more of like a know-it-all and kind of like pretentious in his previous form. Whereas now he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try.
Well,
whereas his previous one is like, you should know, because you're me.
Well, yeah, but that was the same thing in the last film. That was the same thing in the original Total Recall. But
But the magazines that they hand out at Cineplex, right?
Yeah.
I actually read through it, and the interview, I think it was the director claimed that the point of showing you his flashbacks of his dreams was to show you some backstory of a romance between him and the real girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
However, that didn't come across as very well done, I guess. So
or even necessary.
I did not feel as much as I could have.
For
the characters.
Well,
I agree. It was hard to feel attached toward it.
It's hard to attach yourself to any of the characters and everything. You've got a very poor villain. You've got and you essentially have Colin Farrell, a man of two emotional states, that's trying to run this entire piece himself. That's not going to work.
I think he pulled the know-it-all. The know-it-all was very well done in his recordings. But
that's just Colin Farrell.
Yeah, that is. And then I think his I don't know what I'm doing was actually pretty cool.
Which is, again, Colin Farrell, but on set.
Yeah. Really?
I'm sorry.
I think he
I don't mind the work that he does and everything. It's just that he's very two-tone in this film. He doesn't come.
Okay.
There's only so many times I can see him look up shocked and confused.
Because I don't think
before I stop caring.
I liked his look of, oh my god, I do play the piano. I'm so cool. I actually like that scene. That scene was pretty cool. He's like, key.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh.
Exactly what we were saying before. The movie has its high points and then it has its low points, and it just jumps between the two.
I think whoever was in charge of his fake wife and real girlfriend wardrobe and designs was a bit off. It was hard to tell which one was which during the fight scenes because they both have similar hairstyles. I guess it was assumed that because one of them has a ponytail it would be easier, but no. I think it would have been nicer if you gave somebody highlights. I don't know. Because some of the fight scenes end up being a bit too Transformers like Obey. It's too close up. So despite knowing where he set up the interesting bombs, Colin Farrell is interesting because of his technique, whereas what was the real wife's actress? Oh, I can't remember her name.
I don't care.
Yeah, she wasn't she and the real girlfriend when they were fighting. It was harder to tell what was happening because there's just such close-ups. It wasn't as interesting.
Yeah,
but the droids were cool though.
Yeah, the spectacle of the world and the technology and everything is what you see this film for. And oddly enough, I'm willing to, on visual appeal, go see a film in theaters just to see it on that screen, I would actually recommend it for this film to go see it in theaters, simply to get the visual spectacle of it, because
You'll
it is
enjoy the droids.
it is
world,
nice.
The world is actually designed very well. The fact that like you can have like a rainy setting for most of this is showing the prowess of how I'm supposing CGI animation was what they did, and like I guess I wonder if they had real rain in there, but it was done extremely well.
Yeah.
The droids as they embarked or went on their missions and like the vast like number of them, right, didn't actually feel like too much to me. I didn't get a sense of the sublime, but it was still interesting. I think they did an excellent job at lighting them up.
And they did. So overall, if we had to say anything about this film, I think, like for me, I'd say it's a solid film, not a great film, but
I'd give it like
it's worth a. It's worth the price of admission. That's what I can say to you.
Yeah, it's also good. It's actually even though it's an action film, you can actually, if for those of you who don't like gory films, right? It's actually okay. Like you can eat your eat your popcorn through this.
Yeah, it's not a gory film. It's just an action adventure film. A little bit of nostalgia. Woman with 3 boobs. But it's worth its price of admission.
Really nice scenery. Like honestly, the world.
Okay, I thought you were
so
going to say something other than scenery.
The world was designed very well. Like it was a blend of a lot of Chinese architecture actually.
Yeah.
With a modern aesthetic, because we have a postmodern university sort of.
Well, actually, that's actually something that you see that is still happening. That came out of Joss Whedon's Firefly. Because his thing was essentially the only 2 cultures that were left were the North American culture and the Chinese culture, and they kind of smashed together on Earth, and then branched out to this, and that's what you're seeing here, that you got that smashing of...
I like that the recall was like, the recall institute, or the clinic that they went to, was actually set up in what looked like a... You know those Chinese acupuncture clinics? It looked like one of those.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, this is quite interesting. This looks nice for. I don't remember what the original looked like in the Schwarzenegger.
Oh, it was just a laboratory.
Yeah, it was just a laboratory, but now they've upped it, so it looks like a dingy back alley place where you get questionable goods. So I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, you know.
Like, it looks like an opium house. There you go. They had that going. It was a modernized opium house. And it was just as dingy, smoky, but with the people in there were wearing like modernized clothing. I think Harold bleached his hair and has like.
He's got like a futuristic sort of hairstyle.
I think that's why. I think that's why people had trouble recognizing him.
Yeah, the world is well established. The action's fun, and well, the main character does an alright job of it. It's nothing great, but it's good enough.
It's a very good action film, though. Like I found it fun. I found all his like time bomb setups were
Oh yeah, that's just...
That was fun. That was fun.
Cool. It was definitely cool.
And the elevator concept of being able to go through the Earth's core and not melt to death, and be the zero gravity type scenes. That's what's worth going to see a theater for.
Yeah.
That whole sense of disorientation, and then like reorienting yourself quite literally.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's literally like, it feels like the zero gravity of a roller coaster ride. That's how I felt when I was watching it. Yeah.
So,
anyway,
check out Total Recall. It's a fun film. Until next time, I'm Das Hat.
I'm Maya. Take care.
We'll see you when you see you.